day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers. This week's videos will be an overview of our next major history series. After the overview week, we will dig a little deeper into each people's history to expose their beginnings. Now, we've gone over this lesson before, but now that you have fresh eyes, now you can actually perceive my armada perception, and most importantly, now you have experience on how to detect our enemy's use of synonymous words and meanings to hide their history. It's time to pin your ears back and listen to the amazing history they forgot to tell us in school. According to Wikipedia, under migration period, quote, the migration period, also known as barbarian invasions in Mediterranean countries, was a period that began as early as 300 AD, in which there were widespread migrations of peoples with an S within or into Europe during the decline of the Roman Empire, mostly into Roman territory, notably the Germanic tribes and Huns. Many of the migrations were movements of Germanic, Hunnic, Slavic, and other peoples into the territory of the then declining Roman Empire, with or without accompanying invasions or war. Stop, bingo. My God's will, when we go over each of these groups in detail, you will quickly see the Germans, Huns, and Slavs were three different and distinct armadas of new replicas, with the ruddy-skinned, blonde-haired Israelis amongst all three, released in three phases out of the northern factory. They were programmed to conquer, eliminate, and occupy the old clones' towns, in some cases their professions, and when that was complete, to confound the masses researching their tracks, they mingled themselves together, thus their histories, languages, etc., as one huge family of people that we see today. Please be mindful of something and understand that I didn't perceive this to tell you the last time, but by this time, the Romans had already conquered, subjugated, and became allies with the original Gentiles that lived in Germany, France, and Hungary, etc. So that can only mean, when they said, quote, many of the migrations were movements of Germanic, Hunnic, Slavic, and other peoples into the territory of the then declining Roman Empire, with or without accompanying invasion or war, that can only mean these are new and fresh Germans invading an already occupied Germany. The new and fresh Slavs were invading an already occupied Hungary, etc. Basically, the white man is about to tell us how the new and fresh, mean and nasty, upgraded Germans invaded the old Roman-friendly, obsolete, original Gentile Germans, etc. Alright? Quote, various factors contributed to this phenomenon, and the role and significance of each one is still very much discussed among experts on the subject. Yeah, I bet you, because y'all don't want to accept they were clones. Listen to this and perceive. Quote, starting in 382, the Roman Empire and individual tribes made treaties regarding their settlements in its territory. The Franks, a Germanic tribe that would later found Francia, a predecessor of modern-day France and Germany, settled in the Roman Empire and were given a task of securing the northeastern Gaul border. I told you. Now the breach of decency. Quote, Western Roman rule was first violated with the crossing of the Rhine and the following invasions with an S of the Vandals and the Suebi. Stop, bingo. German versus German, with the new and fresh replacement so powerful, they only needed two tribes to breach Roman decency. Now check out how fast they established an entirely new order upon the earth. And because they were brutes and didn't know their left hand from their right, well, let's just say things got medieval real fast. Check it out. Oh yeah, remember when we discovered the factories released their models 10 to 20,000 at a time? I can't hear your answer because this is a video. But if you remember, let's continue please. Quote, in the modern period, the migration period was increasingly described with a rather negative connotation and seen as contributing to the fall of the empire. The place of the fallen Western Rome, in place of the fallen Western Rome, barbarian kingdoms arose in the 5th and 6th century and decisively shaped the European early Middle Ages. All right, listen up, listen up. The migrants comprised of war bands or tribes of 10,000 to 20,000 people, but in the course of 100 years, they numbered not more than 750,000 in total, compared to an average 39.9 million population of the Roman Empire at that time. Stop. Same M.O. bingo. But how in the A's do they know the total number? Is 750 the total amount a fully functioning and operational cloning factory is capable of producing in 100 years? Did they have fertility issues from the onset? There's so many questions I want to ask. But one thing's for sure, they are definitely programmable clones. Let's continue so the white man can tell us exactly which nations were within which of the 3 armadas that ascended upon the earth. Quote, the first migration of peoples were made by Germanic tribes such as the Goths, including the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, the Anglo-Saxons, the Lombards, the Suebi, the Frisies, the Jutes, the Bulgarians, the Alemannes, the Securies, and the Franks. They were later pushed westward by the second armada, the Huns, the Avars, the Slavs, and the Bulgars. Now the third armada. Later invasions, such as the Vikings, the Normans, the Varangians, the Hungarians, the Moorish, the Turkic, and the Mongols, also had significant effect, especially in North Africa and the Iberian Peninsula, Anatolia, and Central and Eastern Europe. However, they are usually considered outside the scope of the migration period. Stop. Bingo! 3 different and distinct armadas at 3 different times with the Israelis within each armada. The first armada was sent to replicate the Anatolia region. The second armada was sent to replicate Western Europe. And the third armada was sent to replicate Eastern Europe / Asia and work their way back to the West, just like the Mongols and Turks did. Why? To ensure 100% upgraded coverage, of course. That's why the Asian Mongols had significant effect in northern Africa and Anatolia. They were designed to cover the entire land to ensure no large obsolete population slipped past the first previous armada's upgrades. And another thing, in the case of the sea armadas, I can only think of 2 ways an incumbent nation would allow a couple of boats to make landfall, nevertheless take over an entire city-state with relatively no bloodshed. The first, if the people were dumb as rocks and unlike the ancient Egyptians who had sense enough to fight them on the water, didn't know any better. And Montezuma proves the only other way this could happen. Yep, the obsolete models were expecting the new upgrades to come. And just like my theory suggests, through natural diseases, biological warfare, etc., the replicas upgrades included a program to exterminate the first clones. But let's continue for more clues if you don't believe me.